Hi, my name is Room and welcome to my corner of the internet. Today we'll be rewriting Fate the Winx Saga. I've been wanting to do this for a while, so I hope you enjoy what I wrote. Warning, this video will contain spoilers, so be aware of that. In Fate the Winx Saga, Althea isn't in Magix like the original series, but in Solaria, I will change it to be in Magix like the original series. Solaria, Andros, Magix, etc. will all be on the same planet. I was inspired by Ghosts Probably and their Winx Club rewrite, so shout out to them. The world seems a lot smaller in Fate the Winx Saga than the original series, so I decided to make all the planets the girls are from on the same planet together, if that makes sense. Althea would be one of the best schools on the planet, but it's not the only one that produces guardian fairies, specialists, and witches. For my rewrite, it will still be the same. Althea is a school that trains some of the other world's best military and guardian fairies. It's a hard school to get into. Fairies that attend don't have to become guardian fairies. Some fairies are alumni who invent things, become diplomats, or do anything they want. The majority of fairies that attend Althea are guardian fairies. For specialists, they don't have a choice. It's either be a specialist or go to another school. For witches, I don't know yet. I'm still brewing the idea in my head. Magix is a huge city in Solaria. That's how so many specialists are a part of the Solarian military. And I'll touch back on this idea in another video. Now we're going to be talking about Bloom. I honestly think out of all the characters, Bloom is the best written one. She's like regular Bloom, but with more angst and anger. How Farrakhan finds Bloom and the events leading up to it will be the same. I don't know, I am somebody who loves drama. I'm a messy person. Bloom growing up always had an affinity for fire. She always liked watching it, always felt so familiar to her. Growing up, her adoptive parents always thought that she was different. Her body temperature was always high, close to the point where they thought she had a fever. She also rarely got sick and had a lot of energy compared to her friends. In Bloom's teenage years, her behavior started to change. She was a lot angrier, quick-tempered, and her body temperature was hotter than normal. Her parents were confused. She wasn't the sweet, kind little girl she used to be. After an argument Bloom had with her mom, Bloom went to bed angry. When Bloom woke up, she was sweating and felt incredibly hot. She was still angry, then she heard screams. Bloom quickly gets up to see her house set ablaze. Seeing this, she runs to her parents' bedroom to see her father holding onto her unconscious mother. Bloom runs to her parents and hugs them both tightly. Bloom's father tells her to run away, but she doesn't listen. A protective dome of fire surrounds them, and Bloom blacks out. The next time she wakes up, she's in a hospital. Bloom and her father recover quickly, but her mom doesn't. The woman is covered in second and third degree burns. Despite Bloom's mom getting burned, the house had minimal damage. Whenever Bloom thinks about that night, she feels an overwhelming sense of sadness and anger. Oh my god, that sounded so formal. I'm sorry, guys. This sounds like trash. Then one day, when Bloom was thinking about the events of that night, her hands start to ignite. Bars, that rhymes. Bloom's shaking her hands up and down, crying and hyperventilating. Just as quickly as the fire came, it disappeared. Farragonda finds Bloom after that. When Farragonda finds Bloom, she meets with Bloom's parents to discuss about her going to Althea. At first, her parents were reluctant, but then agreed that this would be good for Bloom to leave after a traumatic event. For the outfits, it's nothing special. I wanted to show that it was easy to achieve outfits that are similar to the original without being a copy and paste, because their outfits are simple. For Bloom's outfit, it consists of t-shirts and jeans with a pair of sneakers instead of platform sandals, because I don't think Fate the Winx Saga Bloom would wear sandals. For the fairy forms, it's just basically the original. I just want to draw them in my style, so they're the same. And I feel like that would be the easiest to replicate compared to styling a whole wardrobe for multiple characters each season, you know? Stella's backstory will still be the same because I don't have an issue with it personally. I don't think it's bad. I do think it's a little cliche, generic, but it's a trashy Netflix show. What do we expect? Stella is the crowned princess of Solaria. She is the only child and heir to the throne. Stella's relationship with her mother is complicated. The young princess lost her father at a young age, and even before that, Stella didn't have a good relationship with either of her parents. Talk about tragic. From a young age, Stella was taught magic by the best tutors. For Stella, magic was harder for her to grasp. Her mother was unhappy with the results of her training, so she started to train her the same way she was trained as a child. Overwhelmed with anger and magic, Stella couldn't properly channel her powers unless she felt strong emotions. When Stella noticed this, she became scared. How could she be the guardian fairy of her kingdom if she couldn't even properly control her magic? When Stella is enrolled in her first year of Althea, she meets her best friend, Redacted, and Sky, the son of one of the specialist teachers at Althea. Stella and Sky's relationship went from platonic to romantic during the school year. Farragana noticed that whenever Stella was in class, she wasn't using her magic properly. Farragana waited to gather evidence so she can bring it up to the queen because she had concerns about Stella's previous training before she came to Althea. I think one of the few things Fate the Winx Saga got right was showing that Bloom and Stella are parallels to each other. It might have been unintentionally though. Stella and Bloom have a similar problem with how they channel their magic, and Stella messes up by teaching Bloom the wrong way. I wish this series had expanded on this idea that this way of learning magic is very harmful, especially in Bloom's case, because we can see like a few scenes and I wish there were more instead of her like getting mad and her eyes flashing red or whatever. Idea, instead of like just showing that like, oh, she can't spark a flame because she's not in control of her emotions. What happened if she's just like, I don't know, reading a book one day, laying in bed, and all of a sudden the book catches on fire or something like that? Like there could be so many ways they could have shown that like, oh, her way of learning magic through Stella is not right. Oh my god, they fumbled for real. Towards the end of the year, there was a rumor that Sky and Redacted were caught kissing each other. Messy. The rumor was false, but it spread all over the school. You know how kids are. Before Stella knew it, she was angry again. Stella would meet with her friend to confront her, and Sky was there. For some reason, I don't know why yet. Yelling ensues, and then a blinding light flashes the whole hallway. Redacted screams as she covers her face, her skin becoming red and full of blisters. Stella is frozen. She didn't mean for this to happen. Students are whispering, already saying Stella did this on purpose. Farragana escorts the 3 students to her office. While Sky and Farragana know that Stella is innocent, the rest of the student body believes Stella did this on purpose. I would too, I'm not gonna lie. All the school sees is a victim becoming permanently blind while having to leave the school while her assailant can still roam the halls. Farragana needs to do damage control ASAP. Stella also has to retake her first year. She was so behind magically compared to her classmates due to the ill teachings her mother taught her. Stella was humiliated, her reputation could never recover, and she had to retake the school year. Ooh. While the Queen of Solaria wasn't pleased, she couldn't have her daughter have another incident like this, so she gave the okay for Stella to continue her studies at Althea. If you see my speed paint, which you will, I don't know why I said that, you see that Stella isn't skinny, she's chubby. I think adding a plus-size character would have been good if it was a pre-existing character and didn't have her whole storyline revolve around her being a big girl. That was such a tired and used storyline that even I, as a skinny person, got annoyed with. I remember watching the first season, rolling my eyes as I saw these scenes. I was like, okay, why is Tara's whole character arc development in the first season about her being self-conscious about being a big girl? Like, oh, you're in a magical world. Do something else. Like, I know there was multiple writers in the room and you guys all okayed this. Like, my goodness. I decided to make Stella chubby because whenever I see fan art, I see Flora and Musa being the chubby ones, and I was like, what about Stella? Like, I don't know. I just decided to be different. Like, I'm trying to be different, y'all. For her outfit, I decided to give Stella an orange shirt that crosses at the top and a jean skirt because I'm into jean skirts. Sue me. Also, Fate the Winx Saga, Stella would wear a jean skirt. She doesn't have green like the original, which I didn't notice until I colored her outfit, which I was like, oh, too late anyways. I also gave her brown boots because I can't see her Fate the Winx Saga counterpart wear sandals like the original. None of these girls give off sandal vibes. Her fairy form is a copy and paste the same. I just decided to add a moon and sun motif to pay homage to like her original. Also, another idea I just thought of on the top of my head. Since she had slight base powers and she used it to create illusions and hide herself, why don't she also take inspiration from the moon and like decides to cast shadows or make somebody's vision like dark and clouded? Like, these are just ideas I'm coming off with the top of my head to kind of elevate the magic in this series, because while I do think that some of the spells were a lot more creative compared to the original ones, especially season 2, when Aisha gave somebody like a mask of water to help them breathe underwater. I just thought that was so cool in season 2. Like, they were smart for that. I'm gonna give that to them. Aisha is the princess of Andros and heir to the throne. She is also an only child. Andros in my rewrite would still do trades to give the magical kingdoms supplies of power, but they're not located in Stellaria. I thought that was stupid. Stella being the only princess kind of didn't make sense to me. I don't know why they went with that direction, but we're not doing that here. From a young age, Aisha was put under a lot of pressure to be a ruler. Being trained in diplomacy and using her magic, her parents want her to be a worthy queen like her ancestors. Aisha doesn't want to be a queen. She wants to go exploring, travel the world, and meet new people. She dreams of leaving home and not being under the pressures of her family and subjects. It's wishful thinking on her part though. To deal with the stress, Aisha swims competitively and just for fun. Swimming becomes an outlet. It was the only thing she could control, that and her magic. The older Aisha got, the more her parents brought up her meeting suitors. After she graduates Althea, she'll need to get started on her training to become queen and her pending engagement. All of this terrifies Aisha. She's a free spirit. She would rather travel the world, meet new people, go on adventures. She sees how stressed her parents are with running the kingdom, ensuring that their people in the other world have the energy they supply. It's all too much for her. But just like the rulers before her, she'll have to suck it up. The clock is ticking and her first year at Althea is right around the corner. Aisha's character was the most disappointing. The writers put a bunch of racist tropes into a hat and picked whichever one fit Aisha's character, which was damn near all of them. Like, they did not care. They just, yeah, disposable black girlfriend, magical Negro, token black girl. Like, ooh, this was really bad. You can definitely tell they did not look at the source material and just decided to do whatever with these characters. They could not give a single, especially when they could have had Aisha's storylines revolve around not pleasing her parents. There's so much you could do with that. In Fate the Winx Saga, Aisha's parents are businessmen and women, so they want her to take over the company, which was like, oh my god, why is her entire character arc chasing after Bloom? That doesn't make sense to me. If your parents sent you to one of the best schools in the country and you want to become a teacher instead of like being a CEO, there's so much they could have done with that. Oh yeah, I think they didn't even want her to go to Althea, which like, ooh, tension, something they didn't capitalize off of. Are we surprised? Season 1 was bad and season 2 was just horrible. The little development she did receive was about Gray. About, oh, Gray's here to tell her she could let loose and think about herself and not be the mom friend to her friends. Only for Gray to sit there and betray her. And the lesson she thinks she needs to learn is, oh, I need to be more vigilant and I just need to be like work focused and stuff. Like, huh? This show, man. For her outfit, I was inspired by like, you know, those beachy outfits, long skirts and tank tops. Her outfit isn't anything special. While she is athletic in my rewrite, she isn't as much as she was in the original. To show that she's somewhat athletic, I gave her sneakers just in case she needs to run away from the bad guys or something, or she needs to fight. Musa is from a tiny kingdom called Melody. Her family lives 3 hours away from the capital. It's right between Andros and Stellaria, being closer to Andros. I will keep Musa's powers the same as Fate, but with a twist, because they did not develop on it. I feel like there was a lot they could have done with her powers. Musa comes from a long line of mind fairies, most of whom are therapists. While a few work for Melody's government, Musa's mom was a well-known therapist in her hometown and well-respected. Musa's mother became ill when she was 11 years old. Like most women in her family, Musa was just tapping into her abilities. For Musa, watching her mother die was hard enough, but to hear her thoughts and feel every emotion was just so traumatizing. An ability she was so excited to receive because she admires her mother so much, she now hates. As Musa's powers were coming in, her family noticed that they were the strongest they have ever seen in a while. Musa's mother tries to teach her control, but she's getting weaker as the weeks pass by. One day, Musa noticed that something isn't right. This air clings to her mother. It's cold. So cold and dark, and as the day progresses, it gets bigger, swallowing her whole. Her mother gets weaker, and that night, Musa's mother passes away with her family by her side. Musa hasn't been the same since. She keeps to herself to drown out the voices and emotions. Her magic growing every day and has become a problem. She could barely go to school anymore. It's gotten to a point where she can't even leave the house. Her father gifts her with some noise-canceling headphones. Whenever she gets overwhelmed, she'll put them on and ignore everyone. Music has become an outlet for her, a way for her to escape and just to focus on herself, even if it's for a little while. Around Musa's 15th birthday, her aunts come by to talk to her father. For years, they've tried to help with Musa's problem, but her magic was so advanced that they couldn't even help her anymore. So Musa's aunts contacted Farragonda, one of the world's strongest mind fairies, for her to help. Musa would be enrolled in Althea and would be able to control her magic. Musa didn't want to go at first. She'll be going to another kingdom kingdom that's hours away to a school with thousands of kids. She doesn't think she can handle it. Her aunts urge her to go. She couldn't stay in the house for the rest of her life. She'll need to control her magic so it doesn't overwhelm her anymore. Musa's father decides that she'll go to Alfea once the school year starts. The idea of Musa being a mind fairy had so much potential, and it was wasted. Musa dealing with the loss of her mom and being able to feel it when she dies could have been used as a moment with her and Bloom. For Bloom, dealing with the fact that she didn't want to go to Alfea and didn't have a choice like Musa, or the fact that she's a changeling and doesn't know anything about her biological parents. Just wasted potential. For her outfit, I decided to give her jorts. I love jorts. I'm glad they're coming back. With boxers peeking through, I also made her shirt cross at the bottom because I just want to add something, you know, like a flair to it. Her color palette is the same, and it shows that you can recreate outfits and it doesn't have to be exact. An idea for Musa's powers is that she can use her mind to sedate people and lure them to sleep, maybe even control them a little bit. I also imagine she can project speakers to emit harsh sounds to her enemies, but it will be in their minds. She can also project waves and her voice too, something to tie her powers to the original and Fate. Like, I feel like there's so much you could do with tying music to Musa's powers, because they try to do it with her character, but they end up making her like this angsty character. And yeah, she lost her mom, but she's more than her mother's loss. And I feel like if they were going that route, there's so much they could have done with, like, oh, Musa being isolated because she can't handle listening to people's thoughts. Flora lives in the kingdom of Lymphea, south of Solaria and Andros. Growing up, Flora always wanted to be an herbalist like most of her family. It's a bonus that she's an earth fairy. Flora's parents work at Lymphea College, a school that specializes in teaching earth fairies. Due to her parents working there, she wouldn't have to worry about getting in or paying. Flora doesn't want to go to Lymphea College though. She's used to seeing it. That's all she ever grew up with. Ever since she was young, she dreamed about attending Alfea. She has an uncle who attended there and works there now, and would love to hear his stories for attending when he was young. Once Flora turns 14 years old, she's thinking of ways to get into Alfea. The school has produced some of the world's best herbalists. She was determined to be one of them. In Fate the Winx Saga, I loved Flora's character. She was a free spirit character who went with the flow, didn't care what others thought, and I think it was a fun idea to explore with the different characterization of her. Also, rant here, why didn't they just have Flora be the one in the sapphic relationship? Flora and Murder have so much chemistry in season 1, you couldn't deny it. They missed an opportunity. They added this fraud. We don't even know who Tara is, just a random self-insert. For her outfits, I wanted to use the original color palette while also adding, like, I keep saying twist. It's not a twist. I'm just adding different, like, articles of clothing. My goodness. You can't really tell, but Flora sure has these long flowy sleeves like her character in Fate the Winx Saga. I think out of all the characters, Flora was the best dressed, which is crazy. How you let somebody who shows up in season 2 outdress all of y'all? Y'all had a year to prep. For her fairy form, it's a copy and paste from the original. I gave her a braid though because I was so inspired by the reboot. I think them giving her a braid was so smart. Like, I think that suits her. She definitely gives, like, you know, long braid girl. Like, that's just her. I also wanted some variety when it came to the transformations with, like, hair, because, like, I feel like everybody's hairstyle was just a copy and paste in the original. Do that well though. Like, only I think Stella and Flora and Musa have different hairstyles, but it's whatever. Tecna is from the kingdom Zenith, north of Solaria and Andros, near the mountains. Most of the other world's metals and technology come from this kingdom. The scientists in Zenith are the reason why the kingdom is one of the most technologically advanced places in the world. In my rewrite, Fate the Winx Saga, the Otherworld is more technologically advanced than Earth, but not too advanced like the original show. Tecna will not sit here and clown Bloom's phone again. That was crazy. Tecna is an air fairy in this rewrite. I wanted to see if I could fit her into the world building of this show. If you haven't watched the shows, air fairies and Fate the Winx Saga can control electricity, but we haven't seen them control air or anything else. I don't know why they're called that. I'll expand on this idea more in later videos, so stay tuned for that. Tecna's parents are scientists who work for the royal family. Tecna loved watching her family work in their lab. When she was younger, she would even help them with a few experiments. Tecna has always been smarter than the other kids. She spends all her time reading and making little gadgets. She is such an innovator. Due to Tecna being an air fairy, her affinity for lightning helps her when it comes to inventing things. Tecna decided to apply to Althea and got into the honors program along with Flora and Aisha. For Tecna's outfit, I wanted to show that Zenith is different from the rest of the planet. Her color palette is the same, but I gave her gloves for her outfit. I don't know, it kind of gives us like doctor inventor vibes and I love it. For her fairy form, I don't see them pitting her in a helmet, so I got rid of it. It's iconic though, it will be missed. I changed her outfit because I also feel like everyone's was the same as the original and I want to change it up a bit. I was inspired by whenever there was an animation error and like her sleeves would be gone in like the first 2 seasons, but instead of her sleeves being completely gone, I decided to give her some gloves because I don't know why I could see her wearing gloves. They should have given that to her. I never saw the point in adding Terra. It didn't make any sense to me. Having 2 earth fairies in the group and one of their names starting with a T was insane. And only for them to add 6 members, like just add Tecna. Like her powers could have been explained if like, oh, she's an inventor and she controls electricity. Like I don't see how they could have missed that. It was right there in your lap for the taking and y'all just threw it onto the floor, plate smashed and everything, food gone to waste. It makes no sense for Fate to get rid of witches from the school and make them villains when the original series it wasn't like that. It was really only like the tricks. So fairy specialists and witches will be a part of one school. I think I'm going to have all of the tricks appear in the first season and make them the bad guys for season 1 of Fate like the original. I think having the Winx and Trix in the same school is such an interesting concept. Being put in such a confined space, it has a lot of possibilities, and I kind of imagine it going down like, you know, Stargirl, whenever they were like fighting and stuff, because they all stayed in like the same town and they went to the same school, so like it was always on site. I imagine it being like that. During season 2, we find out Bloom has the Dragonfire a season later than the original. So towards the end of season 1, Bloom would have found out she has the Dragonfire. I think the Burn One plotline would be changed to the Tricks trying to find the Dragonfire along with trying to raise the ancestral witches, like how Bloom raised Rosalind. Maybe a spell would go wrong and they summon the Burn Ones and like the girls will have to like fight the Burn Ones or something, or find a way to break the spell. Something like that. For how Bloom finds out she's a changeling, Aisha won't tell her like she did in the first episode. That was crazy. She definitely did not know how to read the room. Instead, during that moment, Aisha helps Bloom calm down and tells her the story of her flooding her school, relating to her that she didn't have good control of her magic when she first started. Bloom would find out she's a changeling when she and the others start researching her past and why she's a powerful fairy from the first world. I would have Bloom be close to Stella, Flora, maybe somewhere. Like all the girls would be close, but you know, they'll have like, you know, different friends, different cliques. The roommates will be the same as the original, with Aisha and Stella being roommates and having the bigger room because, you know, princess treatment. When I think about the dynamics, I think about how Bloom, when she first starts going to Althea, the Winx would help her with her homework and classwork, trying to help her catch up. I could see the same like for Stella when she stops being like the antagonist of the group and she gets along with the others and stuff. I could see Stella and Aisha bonding over the fact that they're princesses and have to deal with an overwhelming amount of pressure, or that Musa and Tecna balance each other out, have a sense of calm with Tecna, and Musa can teach her how to not be so detached from her emotions and the others. That's honestly all I got so far. Maybe in another video I'll design the specialists, the tricks, and the staff. I'll go more in depth with the plot and more character dynamics and stuff, and maybe side characters too. There's so much you could do with this idea, and I feel like they didn't execute it well because they tried so hard to be different from the original that it ended up being poop from butt, end up not making sense, especially with them leaving out characters, adding more. Like there was no need for all of that. Anyways, I hope you guys are thriving, drinking enough water, eating, doing well, taking breaks, giving yourself the rest you deserve. That will be all. Thanks for watching this video and staying to the end. Give me a like, comment, and a subscribe. Thank you. That will be all. Bye.